Well, hi there and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser and I am your host. This is a show where you get to walk along home with me during this life here at York Meadow Farm. And generally, this is a show where you hear my perspective on a rotating series of topics such as financial, physical, personal development, family, spiritual, social, and career, those 7 important topics of our life. But not today. Today is a bonus episode where we are doing an off-the-cuff AAR or after-action review of this past weekend's Medina County Freedom Cell Network meet and greet. And today is Monday, November 6th, 2023. This is episode number 523 of the show. And like I said, we're going to talk about what happened this weekend right here in my hometown of Medina, Ohio, during the Medina County Freedom Cell Network meet and greet. Now, this event was hosted by myself and Caleb Schuster. It was hosted at Caleb's house over there on Remsen Road. Many thanks to Caleb and his wife Crystal for the hospitality and the opportunity to use their home to host the event. There was not a lot of planning that went into this particular event. I had some dialogue with Caleb over the past month or so regarding the event. I created a few promotional brochures or images on Canva, and basically the event was promoted on Facebook and Telegram. I created a Facebook event. There were 14 people that responded to the Facebook event. 8 claimed that they were going, 6 claimed that they were interested, so that's a total of 14. And then it was promoted on Telegram through the State of Ohio Freedom, let me look at that and make sure I get this right. The State of Ohio Metacadre Freedom Cell group, which has 91 members, and it was also promoted on the Medina County Middle Cadre Freedom Cell group, which has 26 members. There was a little bit more promotion than was expected. Whoever manages the Freedom Cells Facebook page was kind enough to share the event, which may have spurred a little bit more interest. Like I said, the event was created about a month or so ago, and it read as follows. Join us for a Freedom Cell Network meet and greet. Get ready for a family-friendly event where we'll explore the world of freedom cells, discover what they are, why they matter, and how you can get involved. And then we listed the day and date, the time, and the address. Expect lively discussions on homesteading, preparedness, and community building, plus much more. It's a fantastic opportunity to expand your knowledge and connect with like-minded folks right here in our local area. As the day goes on, we'll light up a bonfire for everyone to enjoy, and guess what? It's a potluck-style event, so bring your favorite dish to share or simply show up and build connections and strengthen our community bonds. Don't miss out on this chance to learn, connect, and grow together. Mark your calendar and invite your friends. And that's how it was for a few weeks. As time went on, Yoshik, in all of the groups and online, he created a Google form so that people could RSVP there, and with some questions about what are you bringing, so on and so forth. And it was a way to see what was on the menu so that we didn't have like 50 collective pounds of pasta salad or everybody bringing chili. So the fact that he chipped in and created this form was helpful. It was a different way to get people engaged and get a better idea of what was going on. For a while, There were just a handful of people that utilized that form to RSVP. And then a few days before the event took place, he was reporting that 15 people had RSVP'd. And the day before, he was saying that 20 people had RSVP'd. So, initially, Caleb and I weren't really sure what the outcome was going to be, how much interest there really was. And we both decided, really, he encouraged me to not go overboard with planning this first event and basically see how many people show up, see what the feedback is, see what the interest level is in terms of future events, and then take it from there. So, all in all, people started showing up. And I guess before I should get into the actual event itself, about a week or two beforehand, maybe a couple, 3 weeks, I decided that it would be a cool idea to have a gift basket to raffle off and everybody that showed up would get a ticket, and we would do a raffle and have a giveaway, because it's always nice to have something to give away. And after hearing people talk about the Self-Reliance Festival in Tennessee, that's where that idea came from. So when I heard Brian from the Lots Project give his breakdown on the Self-Reliance Festival, I came away with some good ideas about what to do and how we could make this event a little better. So I reached out to a few people and asked if they were willing to make some contributions to the gift basket. Some people responded, some didn't. Again, like I said, I didn't put a whole lot of effort into the gift basket, but just a few days, the week leading up to the event last week, I also threw out there to everywhere that the event was promoted, which wasn't much. Like I said, Facebook and the few Telegram groups, and said, hey, if you bring something and contribute to the gift basket, you will get an extra ticket. So I would estimate an additional 4 or 5 people showed up with something, and that included board games, stuff from other events. Like Larry Yoshik brought a bunch of stuff from the Self-Reliance Festival, and he dumped that in the gift basket. Patches from Toolman Tim, stickers, little bags, stuff from John Willis at SOE, and it was awesome to have that. Some other people brought, I don't even know what, I think it was Andrea. She brought something, threw that in the gift basket as well, a little bag of goodies. Aaron from canopybear.com put I believe it was some kind of salve. I'm not exactly sure. I just saw some pictures that Andrea, who won the basket, shared in the Telegram group of all the stuff, and it was pretty cool. So it turned out that there was a lot of items, and then what we ended up doing, as people started showing up and I was handing out tickets to everybody that showed up got a ticket, and everybody who put items in the basket got an additional ticket. And if you threw in heavy, you got extra tickets. So there was incentive to put in more. So Yoshik eventually, threw out the suggestion, hey, why don't you sell extra tickets for extra opportunities to win, $5 a ticket, and then take that money and either put it towards the next event or raffle some off. And I had originally thought about that, but as Caleb and I talked, we decided to kind of not overdo it on the planning. So while the thought had crossed my mind, I thought, we'll just see how this goes, okay? I bought a roll of raffle tickets and brought those and handed them out, and I actually have some plans to use those at future markets, because all of this has generated some ideas on how I can do things here on the homestead and at farmers markets to further engage people, because who doesn't like a raffle? More on that later. But the suggestions went, people started buying tickets, handing me $20 bills, give me 4 tickets, and I realized that I didn't count the money, but there was probably at least $100 of tickets sold, and the suggestion was made that we do a 3-part drawing, and I'll get to that in a little bit. So as people showed up, the gift basket was assembled. It was placed with the food, and all of that was around a clipboard for a contact list, so people could write down their name, their email, and their phone number. So as everybody showed up, I was kind of making the rounds, trying to meet and greet people, hand them a ticket, and kind of communicate what we're doing. This is for the gift basket. And eventually there were people galore. There were people inside, there were people outside. There was, hanging around the bonfire. Everyone was just hanging around and talking. So I decided, while it was still relatively early, it was probably, the event officially kicked off at 4 p.m. There were people there beforehand for a special behind the scenes event for those in the know, and the official event itself kicked off at 4 p.m. People were there. People continued to show up over the next half hour or so, and around 4:30 or so, I decided to make an announcement, do a little bit of an introduction, and basically the introduction consisted of saying just a greeting for people, and saying something like this, first of all, hey, welcome to the event. Many thanks to Caleb and Crystal for hospitality and hosting, and thank you for coming out to the event. A quick mention of the fact that we had a pretty good turnout tonight, despite the lack of promotion to the event. And I just wanted to say, we got a lot of people and a lot of good food, so I'll keep this introduction brief. I communicated that some people are more familiar with the Freedom Cell Network than others, and decided that the best way to provide an introduction to the Freedom Cell Network would be to simply listen to the trailer that is found on the Freedom Cell Network website. And just to get an idea of that, if you haven't heard it, I will go ahead and play that now. So this is what I played for everybody.
Welcome to the Freedom Cell Network
at the event.
Freedom Cells are local peer-to-peer groups of 8 organizing themselves in a decentralized manner with the goal of empowering group members through education, peaceful resistance, and the creation of alternative institutions. Think of it as your activist support network. These local cells of 8 members work together to accomplish goals. Potential goals include skill sharing, growing food, ensuring every group member has storable food, encrypted communication, an emergency plan, as well as learning self-defense methods. Cell members also make themselves available to render mutual aid to their group in whatever form that may come. As individuals form their first group of 8, or their inner cadre, they begin to organize themselves into a web of decentralized cells. These separate cells form a network of groups of 8, which also have the goal of empowering group members through peaceful resistance and creating alternative institutions. Through building and supporting alternative systems, such as local food networks, health services, mutual defense groups, peer-to-peer economies, and communication networks, Freedom cells will be better able to disconnect themselves from the state institutions they deem unworthy of their support. Once groups become large enough in numbers, it becomes possible for participants to opt out en masse and focus on the creation of new systems. As these individual cells connect and link up with each other around the world, they are forming a parallel network to the mainstream society. This is what we call the Freedom Cell Network. If you want to find like-minded people in your area who are focused on solutions, join the rapidly growing community at freedomcells.org.
And that was it. It is a brief, 1 minute and 47 second video. And as I began to play that, there was a strange kind of quiet that took place. Everyone was actively listening. And at the end of that, a couple people started to clap, applause. Like, hey, all right, this is good. And I said, after that, I said, look, well, I know that was brief. We just listened to the audio of this video. It's an easy explainer video for what the Freedom Cell Network is all about. It's very well put together, and it's a non-intimidating video that is easy to share with friends and family to communicate what this is all about. And then I proceeded to say, as far as getting involved is concerned, we're all off to a good start because we are here today. For anyone else interested in keeping in touch, we'd like to encourage you to sign up for our email list, at which point I held up my little clipboard and said, we'll follow up with everyone via email after tonight's meet and greet, and I will share a link to the video trailer that we just listened to, in addition to the Freedom Cell manual, which elaborates on the trailer and discusses in detail topics such as what is a Freedom Cell, principles of the Freedom Cells network, why are Freedom Cells necessary, organizing Freedom Cells, 12 tips to building Freedom Cells, organizing the inner cadre, methods of organization, working with the inner cadre, creating a vision or mission statement, establishment of common goals, and organizing the middle cadre. I continued by saying the manual is a wealth of information and elaborates on themes and goals we can have when forming our inner cadre, such as a homeschool co-op, parenting, spiritual growth, health and wellness, entrepreneurship, and intentional community. And that the Freedom Cell Network suggests these topics as a few starting points for themes and goals when beginning your inner cadre group. You can pick and choose different areas and overlap as desired. And the Freedom Cell Network also suggests that we don't take on too much at once with our inner cadre. Start with a limited number of goals, find success with those, and then take on more. As far as the middle cadre is concerned, we're looking to get each of our inner cadres connected with one another to get engaged in activities such as trade routes, skill shares, and social meetups, just like the one we're having today, garden blitzes, work parties, mutual aid support, mutual defense, business and trade listings, because there were a lot of people there that had small businesses. More on that in a second. Communication channels. And I said, now that we're already at a point where we're doing social meetups, if you're interested in a spring social meetup or staying connected with people, then please be sure to sign up for the email list. I held that up again and I explained that, this will be in by the food, so be sure to get in there and sign up and list your information so we can keep in touch, because we're going to begin planning another event based on feedback from tonight's meeting. And then I concluded and I simply said, something to the effect of, with all that said, let's enjoy each other's company tonight. Enjoy the good food. There's lots of food. Please eat, enjoy, and have a good time. We've got a gift basket inside, raffle tickets. If you haven't got a raffle ticket, come see me. I'll make sure you get one just for being in attendance here. And if you've got something that you want to throw in the gift basket for additional tickets, let me know. And again, many thanks to Caleb and Crystal for your hospitality and hosting the event this evening. And thank you very much, guys. Please enjoy and look forward to talking with everyone. And at that point in time, something interesting happened. Somebody chimed in and said, I've got a couple questions. And I kind of forget how that went down. I don't even remember what she said, but this was a point where Erin chimed in and introduced herself and said, "Hey, my name's Erin. I'm familiar with the Freedom Cell Network. I've been a part of it since 2019. She, I believe, previously lived in Texas, and explained that at the different meetup events that she had attended, events maybe hosted by John Bush and Derek Brose, who've kind of founded this whole concept of the Freedom Cell Network. She said, why don't we just go around and take a few minutes to explain why we're here, what interested us, and give everybody an opportunity to talk and share. And by this time, people had already formed a bit of a circle out there in the yard. And I stepped back and I just kind of watched this happen and nodded my head. And at this point, when I mentioned something about an email list, a lot of people were nodding their head in agreement. So I thought, okay, this is good. Erin's kind of taking the lead here with this. And people just started talking one after another, going all the way around the circle. And as this was going on, I took the clipboard, put my name, my email address, my phone number on there, and then I just gave it to the next person. And while everyone else was talking, everyone's signing up for the email list and the contact list. And it was, it was a great way to ensure that everybody who wanted to at least put their contact information on there. Everybody listed their name, their email address, and their phone number. Maybe there were a few people that didn't want to. That's okay. I don't know. I wasn't counting. But of the 40 people in attendance, some of whom were children, anywhere ages from 2 to 12, it looks like most of the adults in attendance, if not all of them, did indeed sign up for the email list. And that was great. So today I will be taking all of the email addresses and assembling an email list via MailChimp or MailerLite. There's some debate in the Telegram group, the All Around Growth Telegram group, about what option and why. If you want to get in on that dialogue and contribute with your thoughts, just join us over at t.me/allaroundgrowth and let us know what you think, what email lists you use. Looks like a lot of people use MailChimp. Some people use MailerLite, and there's a bit of debate about pros and cons and why not, and maybe using a different platform for this as opposed to what we're already using on the farm, which is MailChimp. And at this point in time, at the time of this recording, Monday morning, I'm still not sure, so we'll see what happens. I might make that decision while assembling the body of the email externally and then just import that with some images. So there's still time for your input. So let me know what you think. And if you're listening to this, by all means, you're welcome to shoot an email out to allaroundgrowth@gmail.com or comment on any of the social media links that will be posting this website on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. You can find us all at All Around Growth. But really, Telegram is where we are most engaged, and I would definitely encourage you to join that group if you're not already on there. t.me/allaroundgrowth. So the follow-up, all right. So basically, the rest of the evening went on. Everybody was talking to everybody else, talking with new people as we'd go in and get food. There were groups of people outside talking, groups of people around the fire, groups of people on the porch, groups of people in the kitchen, groups of people, everywhere. Everybody everywhere talking with everyone. Anything from topics included homesteading, cryptocurrency, the status of the US dollar, the decline of the dollar, secure communication, gardening, canning, food preservation, the profound impact of events that occurred in 2020. You know what I'm talking about. There was a lot of talk about private membership associations, or PMAs, taxes, common law trusts, the ketogenic diet, concerns about the food supply, plant medicine, you name it. It came up. There was even some comment about the Flat Earth Society. Yes, I don't know who was there, but there was some jokes circulating about that. You know who you are. And so all of this was taking place all throughout the evening. There was a ton of good food, and I was lucky enough to come home with some of that good food, and I brought home all of Yoshik's leftover chili. So I'm stoked on that. I will be eating a lot of chili today, tomorrow, and this week. So thank you for the donation of the chili. And as time went on, for the next hour or so, as soon as someone started to leave, I decided that was the time to raffle off the gift basket. And Yosha came to me with a good idea and said, hey, dude, why don't we do this? Okay, why don't we do a 3-ticket drawing? And he had, some of the things he contributed to the gift basket were kind of awesome. He had a little single-use charge, portable charger that would be that could be used on multiple devices, Apple devices, Android devices, whatever the case may be, tablets, phones, what have you. It had a multiple charging options, and it was about the size of a credit card. And it was something that some cool merch that Toolman Tim was giving away from the Freedom Cell Network, or from the Self-Reliance Festival. So he threw one of those in the gift basket. He had another one, and he gladly donated that to the raffle. And he said, hey, 3-tier raffle, 3-tier giveaway. The third giveaway, which will be the first draw, will be this. Second giveaway will be half the cash or the gift basket, their choice. And then the final giveaway will be what the second person doesn't choose. And I thought, okay, cool, why not? Let's do it. So I grabbed luckily, it was very cool. Little Aurora, who was maybe 6 or 7 years old, Aaron's daughter, helped me pull the tickets. She would pull the winning ticket. I would read the number, and I forget who won the first gift, the portable charger, but she was excited about that. The anticipation started to build on the second drawing, and wouldn't you know it, my man Yoshik, he won the ticket, decided that he was going to take the cash, but then he was going to donate it back into the pot for the next event, which was awesome. So big shout out to Yoshik for all of your help, your donations into the gift basket, your donations of the winning cash back into the pot for the next event, and just everything that you contributed to the event, including but not limited to your chili, which was delicious, and all of the ideas that you brought by showing up. So, big, yeah, a lot of gratitude for all of that. It made something that was good even better, dare I say great. And finally, we pulled the winning ticket, and Andrea won that and was very excited to have this gift basket, which included some handmade soaps and some local wine, and like I said, some board games and some homemade salves, and a home fermenting kit, and some board games, and a bunch of stuff from other events like the Self-Reliance Festival. And I don't know, that gift basket was overflowing with all the contributions from everybody. So it was kind of nice. And at that point, that interruption stopped, the raffle stopped, and everybody kept on talking about all of the things. There were people there who had, who were active small farmers and homesteaders and master canners, people that were actively teaching classes, people involved in all kinds of things. Like I said, discussion went from homesteading, cryptocurrency, the decline of the dollar, secure communications, gardening, canning, food preservation, everything 2020, PMAs, taxes, common law, dietary guidelines, what we're doing, health, wellness, everything, underground bunkers, off-grid homesteads that people are building, solar, small businesses, so much. There was a lot of conversation happening. It was hours and hours of dialogue until people started peeling away and going home, because like I said, everybody got there around 4, and people started to leave around 7:30, 8. Some people stayed as long as 9. I was the last one to leave, and I left around 9 or 9:30. So it was a good long day, and have since sent out a couple additional notifications, one on Facebook and one in each Telegram group, kind of just giving a breakdown about how many people showed up, what we talked about, and what we're doing moving forward in terms of the email list, and encouraged people who weren't able to come to send me a message so that I can add them to the list if they are interested in staying on the list. Now, regarding the email list itself, I talked with Caleb yesterday about this, and I talked with him about a couple of things. How frequently should we do this? When should we plan the next one? Should we do just a spring and a fall event? Should we do it monthly? Should we do it quarterly? What do you think? And he suggested to do it monthly. And the reason being is that some people with alternative schedules and kids and events, they might not be able to make it. For example, he said, take me for example, I work every 3rd day. And if we have an event the next time around and I have to work and I can't make it, then I can't make it until the next event. And if at the next event my kid's got basketball practice, then I can't make it to the next event. So if we're doing these things quarterly and I can't make 2 events, that puts me at 9 months out until I can regroup with everybody, and that's a long time. I said, well, that's a good point. He said, now, if we're doing a monthly and I can't make an event or 2, that puts me at 2 to 3 months until I can reconnect with everybody. And I said, okay, that's valid. That's a good point. And he said, he made sure to point out that, we got to keep in mind that we're here in Medina, Ohio, okay? And I'm very much elaborating on what Caleb said to me, but we are here in Medina, Ohio, Medina County. For those of you who don't know where Medina County is, it is about halfway between Cleveland and Akron and a little west. It's not quite halfway between Cleveland and Columbus. It's definitely closer to Cleveland than Columbus. It's probably an hour and a half drive to Columbus. And, hour and a half to the Youngstown area. But we had people from the Columbus area. We had people from the Youngstown area. We had people from Lake County, Portage County, Geauga County, Cuyahoga County, Wayne County, Summit County, Franklin County, down by Columbus area, if I'm not mistaken. That there were people from all over the place. that came out. And so somehow word got around and people showed up. People are interested in what's going on with the Freedom Cell Network, and people want this. You know, it was a kind of a joke that was circulating that a big reason why people appreciated this event is that it gave them, all of us in attendance, a quote safe space to talk about some of the things that were talked about, because in the common world, you know, out there and about with everybody else, it's oftentimes difficult to talk about some of the things that we talked about. For example, like the events of 2020 and the ramifications of how some of these things were enforced and people's responses to them. It's oftentimes difficult to talk about preparedness and what you're doing in the world and in your life to become better prepared. Better prepared for what? Immediately people think to, you know, TV shows like Doomsday Preppers and, oh my God, you're preparing for the zombie apocalypse. You know, well, that's not good. You know, what do you, and people have all these preconceived notions about what it is to be prepared. You know, people have a lot of preconceived notions about what homesteading is. I'm one of them. You know, I don't think I'm doing that. You know, I think people who are, you know, doing other things, no, those are the ones that are homesteading. Well, you know, it's all about perspective. And I think that, you know, Kiriaki from, you know, this group and the Medina County Freedom Cell Network, you know, she dropped a reminder the other day that said, Nicole Sauce defines homesteading as living a life you choose on your terms. And if you're doing that, then you're a homesteader. So, you know, people want to think that homesteading is this or homesteading is that. Well, homesteading is really quite simple. If you're living a life that you choose on your terms, then you are a homesteader. And I like that. So, nevertheless, there's a lot of desire for people to come together and talk about the things that we talked about. Homesteading, preparedness, and community building. Those were the three key things that we were talking about. And indeed, we talked about them. So back to the email list, we've decided that we're going to do this monthly, and we are going to send this out. Again, whatever platform remains to be seen, but Caleb suggested that we have one clear call to action in the email address. And whether it's some kind of Google form that we seek responses on best days and times to hold an event, but also something where people can respond back with to the question, what are you willing to do? How are you willing to contribute? What can you give a presentation? What are you willing to do to help this grow? And we spitballed a number of other ideas about what could be done during the next meetup. People could give, a 5 to 10 minute brief presentation on whatever, and then do some question and answer. And then based on feedback from that and the amount of question and answers, that could be its own isolated, in-depth topic for a future meeting. Like, for example, if somebody came and decided that they were going to do a 5 to 10 minute presentation on the building and developing a 3D printer farm, and there was absolutely no questions or interest in it, then that's definitely not something we will consider for a future event. However, if somebody showed up to do a brief presentation on building and developing a home-based 3D printer farm, and the question and answer period went on for a half an hour or 45 minutes because of the incredible interest in home-based 3D printing farms, then that's likely a worthy candidate for an isolated meeting in and of itself. So lots of good ideas. In a nutshell, we're going to have monthly meetings with locations to be determined. We will likely host one here at York Meadow Farm. I've reached out to someone locally that has a good space for events and oftentimes brings people in there to see if they are willing to host an event. It may end up being hosted at the local library in a conference room, or possibly even a space that I have access to in downtown Medina that is conducive to large meetings and kind of a secret access spot. So that's basically what we're going to do. We're going to drop this email out to the 30 or so people that signed up for the list and anyone else who wants to be on the list. And this will go out sometime later today or tomorrow based on what I'm able to get done today. And that is about it. There will also be some encouragement to send and forward the email to friends and family who were not able to attend. And the email will also include resources to, like I said, the trailer video that we listened to so that people can share that. It will also include a link to the manual so that they can download that, the Freedom Cell manual, and I'll include most of what I'm talking about today in the show notes as well, so that you can reference that for yourself if you are interested in hosting some kind of similar event, because I think that you'll be surprised at what happens. Like I said, I just created a simple, Medina County Freedom Cell Network meet and greet. Created a few simple templates on Canva, promotional things that I could share on social media. And that seemed to generate enough interest, and was by tagging the Freedom Cells on Facebook. Now, they're not very active on Facebook, again, whoever manages that page, but they shared the event. If I'm not mistaken, Yoshik also sent information on the event to Nicole Sauce from Living Free in Tennessee. If you're not familiar with her, I'll link to her and her podcast in the show notes as well, so you can check out her work. And she shared that in her monthly newsletter, weekly newsletter, weekly update. And that likely helped generate a little bit of interest as well. But I think if you've already got a good network of people that you're communicating with in various Telegram groups, in various Facebook groups, that's a great start. That's really all you need. You can do this. And I would strongly encourage people to do this, because like I said, when it was my turn to speak, I basically just told people, yeah, I used to live out west, moved back here about 10 years ago, got involved in all kinds of things, started my own business, experienced a couple failures, finally decided to quit my job last year to go full-time with family endeavors that were taking place that involved the farmers market. And I am definitely interested in the Freedom Cell Network because I believe that the mechanisms that it employs are valid and good and can be of great benefit. And I'm interested in connecting with people who want to do this and actually implement the framework that is outlined in the Freedom Cell Network in our lives and do it together. And I'd love to see more people do that and form their own inner cadres, so that over time, when we get together on a monthly basis, we can talk about what it is that we're doing instead of just freaking out about all the bad things. Because there was certainly that element of dialogue during the event on Saturday. A lot of people are, a lot of people come out, they're very interested in talking about how 9/11 was an inside job, and the government's tracking you on your devices and things like that. And I'm not saying that those things aren't true. I do believe that there's a lot of monitoring that's taking place on communications, and there will likely be events that take place at certain times where phones stay in the vehicles. And everybody had a lot of good ideas, but the overwhelming majority of people seemed to be people who were either interested in doing something, were already doing something, and just simply trying to grow and expand their networks. And that in and of itself was awesome. And I'm not discounting or dismissing people that have other interests about other things than that. That's fine. Form your network with those people who share those interests, and grow the community of people who share your interests. I mean, like I said, whether the interests involve homesteading or whatever the case may be, there's an opportunity to connect with people on your inner cadre specific to your interests: homeschooling, parenting, homesteading, health and wellness, entrepreneurship, intentional community, whatever. Even if think of it as an accountability group. That's what your inner cadre is, and that's the way that I'm trying to structure the one that I'm looking to build in my life. And I've got a few people in mind that I would like to do that with, some of which are local to Medina, some of which are actually outside of town. And that's okay for now. Hopefully we can get started on our own doing this, and then as time goes on, the people that are outside of town can build and develop their own thing with people that are more local to them. But local, not local, doesn't really matter. Get out there and do something. The Freedom Cell Network is a great way to, provide some structure to the thing that you're trying to do. And also, it's something that is already there. You don't have to create your own thing. Okay, take advantage of the institution that is the Freedom Cell Network and run with it and make it your own. But use that as a framework for building and developing your own network, because the whole point of it is the fact that it's decentralized and it's created so that you can customize it in whatever way, shape, or form that you want. So guys, I hope that was a good breakdown of the event. I hope that gave you some information about what happened on Saturday. Some ideas were generated so that you can do this in your own life. And when you do, I'm very curious to hear about them. So share them with me, either in the Telegram group at t.me/allaroundgrowth, via email at allaroundgrowth@gmail.com, the Facebook group All Around Growth, facebook.com/groups/allaroundgrowth, I think is what it is. I don't know. Share it there. Get involved in the community and let us know what you are doing. And I would love to hear from you. I'd love to see how you implement this in your own life. And if you have any questions about anything, feel free to let me know, and I'll do my best to answer them. Guys, have a great week ahead. Look forward to catching you on tomorrow's episode when we return back to the original 7 topics. Physical, we're going to talk blood pressure. So have a great week ahead. We'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
That I believe in friendship and love, and truth is always the best way to the world that may seem hard. we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. You know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love. Truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow, you're an odd